Hey guys, Veteran Outdoors in here. We're going to talk today about spare gear that you should keep for hunting. And this gear is stuff that you should keep, in a small bag attached to your stand. If you carry a climber or a lock on or a saddle, those are very popular now, things like that. You keep it attached to your stand, keep it in the glove box of your truck or toolbox in your truck, something like that. Some spare gear in case you lose or break something while you're out in the woods or you forget it at your house. Things that you should keep just in case. Um, so let's get into that. My last video, I talked about drag harnesses and different methods of dragging a deer. A spare drag harness is a great thing that'll fit in your glove box, your console, under your seat, something like that. That's something great because that's something that can fall out of your pack. Sometimes you get out in the woods and you realize you forgot your pack. Most guys carry a small backpack or something, fanny pack, something like that. Maybe you forget your pack. You know, a day's worth of any kind of medications that you would typically take. If you don't take medications, some ibuprofen, something like that's not a bad idea in case you get a sprain or some sort of an injury. That can be very helpful. But any prescription meds that you take, if you're somebody that takes an aspirin every day, things like that, keep a day's worth of that in your pack. Um, a spare compass, a spare battery pack for your cell phone or GPS, cameras, whatever. If you're somebody that likes to video your hunts, some SD cards, some batteries, a small GoPro camera, something like that. It's beneficial to keep a spare around in your vehicle. Um, Check the condition of those things periodically and replace them as needed. If it's medication and you're keeping that with you, then the last day that's the one you take. And as you renew your prescription, you put another one in there, so you're rotating your stock and your medication's not going bad. Things like that. Um, a spare knife, a small sharpening stone, and it doesn't have to be a full size hunting knife. It can be a pocket knife, a utility knife, something like that. But just a spare knife. I have before gotten to the woods and realized I left my hunting knife at home. I typically have a pocket knife in my pocket, so it wasn't that big a deal. But you're somebody that doesn't necessarily carry a pocket knife or whatever. A spare knife in your glove box can be very helpful. A length of rope, a signal mirror, um, some matches or a lighter, some sort of a tinder, uh, space blanket, some things that those are things you should probably have in your pack already. Bottle of water, some purification tablets, something like that, some protein bars or a jar of peanut butter, some sort of food source. Things like that. Uh, if you're somebody that doesn't deal with allergies all the time, but does when you're in the woods because of the different pollens, molds, things like that, you come across some allergy pills will be a good thing. Claritin or Zyrtec, something like that. I have issues with my allergies. I don't they can make me sneeze and stuff. I don't usually take Claritin or Zyrtec, but I get red, itchy, watery eyes because of my allergies. So there's an eye drop called Pink Eye Relief that works very well and helping with my eyes for that. So I'll keep a bottle of that in with my stuff. That can be very helpful. A spare set of of glasses. If you wear glasses, I wear these are just reading glasses. A lot of times you see me with them, but it makes it easier for me to see the screen of my camera or phone, whatever I'm filming with. You'll see me wearing them a lot. A lot of times I'm doing how-to videos with small screws and stuff, so I'm wearing them a lot. I don't wear them all the time, though. But I do keep a spare pair of reading glasses in my truck. That can be very beneficial. You're bow hunting, a couple extra broadheads. You're gun hunting, half a box or a box of the ammunition of your choice, whatever caliber. Maybe you're like me and you have a few different calibers weapons that you can hunt with at any time. And a few of each in your glove box is not a bad idea if it's legal to do so. Some states you're not allowed to keep the ammunition in your passenger compartment, or it has to be locked in a box or something like that. Now, if your glove box has a lock, that may be okay. But those are things to think about. Maybe you have to keep it in a toolbox in your back or something to be legal. Make sure you're legal. But I may hunt with my 10mm pistol. I may hunt with 12 gauge with slugs, or my muzzleloader, or my bow, or my 30-06, or my 30-30, or a 223. So during hunting season, it's a pretty good chance that I've got at least a handful of each of those rounds in my vehicle, in case, depending on what gun I take, just to make sure I've got a few spare rounds. That's always a good idea. I don't typically forget my ammo, but anything can happen. You could drop your box out in the woods and not know where you left it, whatever. It's a good idea to have those things. Let me think. Ratchet strap, good idea. A couple bungee cords. Anything, anything that if you lost it, you may not be able to finish your hunt, or it may not be as comfortable. Those are some things you keep spares of. You bow hunt. Releases can be expensive. I get that. But I have left my release at home before. I typically carry a spare. Ideally, you want to carry a spare of the same type of release that you shoot, but at minimum, if it's a different type of release, you want to practice with it and make sure you can shoot well with that release as well. Keep a spare release in your glove box. I have many times gotten to the woods and realized I forgot my release, and that spare saved my hunt. So that's something to think about. The little possibles that you put in your pack, put another set of them in your glove box just in case. Like I said, just spare batteries, an extra pocket knife, another compass, things like that. Maybe you have a GPS on your phone and you have another GPS. Keep one of them in your vehicle so that you've got a spare. I've got a small camera tripod that's fairly inexpensive. I could throw a spare one of those in my glove box or under the seat of my truck without too much trouble. A camera arm for in your stand, a spare one of those. Bungee cords, things, ropes, ratchet straps, another drag harness like I mentioned, some rope, 550 cords, something like that, space blankets, a tarp, a little hatchet, lots of things, like I said, stuff that you would typically carry in your pack, put it in your pack. Throughout the, you may think, well, that's a lot of money to buy two of everything. Well, throughout the year, you're going grocery shopping or something. One time pick up spare batteries. The next time pick up a couple spare SD cards. The next time pick up a cheap spare knife. Next time pick up a sharpening stone. Next time pick up some ratchet straps. Next time pick up some bungee cords. Next time pick up another tarp. Next time pick up a spare compass. Whatever, throughout the year, and build up your supplies of spare stuff. Put them in a little small, like a travel case, something. Throw them behind the seat, under the seat, in the glove box, whatever, and keep this stuff there. That way you've got it if you need it. Spare release, whatever. That can be pretty expensive. But maybe there's a less expensive one that you can still shoot well. That's fine. I hunt with recurves quite a bit. It's not unusual for me to keep a spare bowstring. Back when we shot the old magnesium riser bows with the teardrops and the strings hooked on the little hooks, in my case, I always had a spare bowstring, because if I noticed that my string was frayed or whatnot, one instance I hunted with a buddy of mine that had an old style open quiver where the broadheads were exposed, and we were hunting in a blind together. He turned and put a nick in my string. He didn't cut all the way through it, but he put a nick in my string. With a spare string, with those old style bows, you could do it yourself, but it was real easy with another person. Each of those teardrops had 2 hooks on them, and your string would be on one hook on each end. So draw your bow back, have somebody put the string on the other hooks, let your bow down, and it would tighten the other string. Then draw back with that string and have the guy take your bad string off, and then you can use it as a mark to put your knock, your silencers, things like peeps, sights, whatever. You can use that trick to let some tension down and get your peep installed. You pull it back with a different string, put your peep sight and stuff in, and then tie everything in. And I typically carry during hunting season, carry a target in the back of my truck. I could be set back up in another half hour, 45 minutes, and ready to go with that old style setup. With my new compound and the string that goes all the way through, and I wouldn't be able to do that. But with my old one or with my recurve, I can do that. So that's something. I unstring my recurve every time I quit hunting. So if your string's a little frayed or whatnot, put a fresh string on it, put some twists in it, practice shooting a couple times to your target, make sure you're shooting good, put your knock point on it, whatever. You can already have your string twisted, ready to go and tuned up, and know that it's shooting well with a recurve, and then just put the fresh string on. Have it already shot in and stretched and ready to go. Wrap it up so it doesn't untwist, and you're ready to go. So spare bowstrings, things like that, are good ideas to have if you can do that. A couple of my crossbows are recurve style crossbows, similar to an Excalibur. And I keep a stringing aid and some spare strings with those. I typically will keep some spare arrows in my truck. That's not so much in case I forget them. I don't typically forget my arrows, but you're out. I've seen guys leave their quiver on the hood of their truck or something, and it rattle fall off. I've been walking through the woods and not paid attention and had an arrow or two fall out of my quiver, things like that. So some spare arrows isn't a bad idea. I already mentioned spare broadheads. Just some things to keep in mind, some things that may save your hunt if you have them with you. So make a list of stuff that you really need, you need when you're going hunting. Hey, I've known guys that had to drag deer out whole because they forgot their knife and they weren't able to get one. I've seen guys get them with utility knives and razor blades and broadheads. I've known guys that gutted deer with broadheads. I've gutted many a deer with a pocket knife because that's what I had on me. Keep that in mind. Keep spares. Live by this rule. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Chances are, throughout the year, some part of your gear is going to break or you're going to lose it. So if you have 2 of them, you're down to 1. If you only had 1, you're down to none. So 2 is 1, 1 is none. Really critical gear, keep 3 if you can afford it. And that's really going to help your hunt throughout the year. So make a list of critical gear. Start working up your spares. And build you a small spare kit of different critical items. Keep them in your vehicle, leave them there, inspect them periodically, make sure everything's in good working order, and it may save your hunt someday. God bless you all. We'll see you next time. This is Veteran Outdoorsman. Like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.